Hello, and today we're doing Bundesliga predictions for matchday number 21 of the 2020 to 21 season. We are the champions, my friend. Dum 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 dum. We go fight till the end. We are the champions. No need for losers, 'cause we are the champions. That's right, that is the song of the weekend for these predictions. It's We Are the Champions by Queen, and it's week 21 predictions. The colour of the week is, or weekend I should say, is going to be purple. And the theme of the week for these Bundesliga predictions, I am feeling a little bit of, well, it's February. It's the winter months. So, it's got to be snowflakes. Snowflakes are sometimes present, and in some areas it's been a lot more present than in others. But let's get into these predictions, and it is going to be the collection of Bundesliga matches to go into. And to start off with, we have Leipzig against Augsburg. Now, in my Week 20 predictions, if you haven't already checked out my review of my predictions for Week 20, I'll put it in the description below. But in those predictions, I actually didn't do too badly, but we didn't get any correct scores. So we really need to improve. And in Leipzig's last result, they actually were much better, much better than previous games. They're still trying to obviously chase down Bayern, and the gap is now at 7. So not ideal. But at the end of the day, they'll be fairly happy with that 3-0 win over Schalke. They were expected to do it, and they did. And once again, Marcel Sabitzer is the talisman for that team. Now, they face an Augsburg team here that come into the game off the back of a 2-0 loss to Wolfsburg. So I think that Leipzig are going to have a bit of a momentum and stride in their steps. So I'm saying 3-1 on the day to RB Leipzig. And then it's Dortmund against Hoffenheim. And Dortmund, obviously, with the shock loss last week to Freiburg, they need to bounce back. Their season has not been as good as a lot of Dortmund fans would have hoped for. And ultimately, they've got a good squad. It's not materialised this season. And they face a Hoffenheim team that were, unfortunate, I think, against Frankfurt. They tried hard. They tried to get back in the game. They did do that through Ilhas Bebu on 47 minutes. But, Frankfurt were clinical. 2 goals in 2 minutes. And in a puff of smoke, the game was away from Hoffenheim. So, yeah, they really need to respond. But it's not an easy test to go to the Signal Iduna Park and to try and take on the likes of Jadon Sancho and Erling Haaland. So I'm going to say Dortmund 2, Hoffenheim 1. We next have Werder Bremen against Freiburg. And Freiburg will be full of confidence after that last result. Obviously, Jonathan Schmid being the moment of magic for the hosts in that last game against Dortmund. But, a bit like, the win for Frankfurt, they got quick-fire goals, did Freiburg, and I'm going to say they get a win here because Werder Bremen have been pretty poor this season, and obviously their game was postponed at the weekend, so they have had a rest, but I just don't see goals in that team, and I think that, they will not be able to score. They got a 1-1 draw in their last game they played, but I think it will be a 1-0 win away from home this time for Freiburg. Now we've got Stuttgart against Hertha Berlin. Now, Hertha Berlin scored just 1 goal against Frankfurt and then blanked against Bayern, as you would. You'd imagine that. But I think that this is a game where Stuttgart really have to go for it. They were absolutely outplayed against Leverkusen. And I think the better team really won on the day. But ultimately, I think that at the end of the day, it should be a win here for nobody. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. I think both sides struggling with confidence, and it does see, of course, the team that is sitting in 10th up against the team in 15th, and there's not much difference in points against them, but I think there is a little bit of difference in confidence. However, Stuttgart, though they may have many chances, they won't make it count, and it'll be goalless. Now we've got Leverkusen against Mainz, and this really is a bit of a mismatch. Leverkusen obviously really pushing for that top four. Mainz trying to stay up, and they really are a little bit cut off. They're 4 points behind Hertha Berlin and Arminia, but they need to start getting more results. And they have picked up recently 2 wins in their last 3, but this is going to be a really tough test for them. And I think Leverkusen will put them to the sword. 3-0 to Bayer Leverkusen. Then it's Union Berlin against Schalke. Schalke have been utterly dreadful this season. Just 1 win all season, and they just concede so many goals. 52 now for the campaign. And that goal difference is not being helped at all. And Union Berlin, on the other hand, are looking for a top half finish. And really, they've been a bit stop-starty recently. They haven't got a win in the last 4, but I think they will surely get a foothold and find a way past this Schalke team that is just so hit for confidence. So 2-0 to Union Berlin is what I'm going to say. We next have Frankfurt against FC Köln. Frankfurt come into this off the back of a really good performance and a win that does see them in 4th, 1 point ahead of Leverkusen. Whereas FC Köln, well, they also got a bit of a shock on the cards. 14th in the table, but you wouldn't have, predicted it from the way they did very, very well against Borussia Mönchengladbach. So it's going to be a tight one, I think. And for that reason, I'm actually going to go for slightly a bit of a shock in the fact that I'm saying Köln to win. I just think Köln have been really impressive recently, and I'm going to back the away side. So Frankfurt 1, FC Köln 2. Then it's Wolfsburg against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Gladbach have to respond from that disappointing defeat to Köln. They got the goal quite early on from Florian Niehaus, but they just didn't have enough of a threat in the game, and only 2 shots on target will disappoint the Gladbach manager. But he has a game against Wolfsburg here, which is winnable, I would say. Wolfsburg have been decent this season, but ultimately not many wins, and they are sitting in a pretty good position of 3rd. But it's still a game you would say maybe the better squad is with Gladbach. I don't know. Ultimately, they are separated by 4 places in the table, but only by 6 points. So it could be tighter than we think. But I'm going to edge towards Gladbach because they have to respond. 2-0 away from home for them. And finally, we've got Bayern Munich at home against Arminia Bielefeld, and this is a very tough one for the away side. They did have a rest with the game getting postponed with Wolfsburg. I think it was with Wolfsburg or whichever game it was given as a rest, so they come into this one nice and fresh. But I don't think anything like that will even make a difference against this Bayern Munich team that is just winning goal and winning game, I should say, after game. Just 2 losses all season. Oh, I say that, but Wolfsburg have had that exact record, and they're doing very, very well. But Bayern Munich, 5 wins in their last 5. They just can't be stopped unless Leipzig really, pull it back at some point. But I just don't see it with this Bayern Munich team. They are through in the they got through, I should say, in the semi-final of the Club World Cup, and then they won the final against Tigres Unal, thanks to Benjamin Pavard. So that was a big result. But on Monday night, I think that this will be a bit of a rout. I'm saying Bayern Munich 4, Arminia 0. And that wraps up my predictions for matchday number 21 of the Bundesliga for this season. Get your predictions down in the comment section below, and I will give you a shout out in the next predictions video if you can get some correct scores and some good points in there. The point scoring, 3 points for the correct result, then 5 for the correct goal difference and the result basically, and then 8 points for the correct score. Back to normal, just like with our Premier League predictions scoring. So hope you have enjoyed. Smash a like on the video if you're new around here. Smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.